Hi guys, so today we are going to be looking at this. It's a Hobao Hyper MT Sport and it's the electric version. We've had it in our garage for a little while, haven't really done anything with it, and we thought we'd throw some electrics in and see what it's like. So stay tuned and see how we get on. So here it is, Hobao, I think that's how you pronounce it, Hyper MT Sport. As I say, it hasn't, well, we've never used it. It's pretty good condition. It's got a little bit of surface rust on some of the parts, but generally it's actually in quite nice condition. We've got it sitting here on one of our 3D printed stands. It's actually one we use for the UDR, but it perfectly fits this car. And again, if you do want any 3D printed items, see the link below in the description to our Facebook page and we can pretty much design and make anything. One of the things I have noticed of this car is the diffs. You see that the diffs spin so easily. There's obviously no oil in these diffs, so that's something to look at, but I'm going to get the electrics in it first. One other thing, it doesn't actually have a centre diff. Now most of the cars these days, the X-Max, the Max, the UDRs all have centre diffs. When you haven't got a centre diff, it will make the car understeer more, so we'll see how that performs. Now what electrics are we going to put in it? Well, we've got a choice. We're actually thinking we're going to try a UDR setup. We've actually got a spare UDR motor and ESC, and we've also got some of the TQI radio gear with the gyro, which obviously is in the receiver. For anyone who doesn't know, the gyro is actually in the receiver, so that's what does all the trickery to try and keep the car straight. And we're also going to use our 3-cell Traxxas lipos, so we'll run that on 6-cell. We do have a budget hobby wing setup here, which we might try later on. That again will also run 6-cell, but we'll see how it goes. Now we're thinking this car is actually quite a decent size, or it's a good comparable size to the normal Max or the Wide Max V2 which they've just brought out. And if you've seen our previous video, on one of our previous videos, we've actually now got one of those on the channel. So we're going to give this a go and see how it compares. It is slightly bigger, but we'll see how it goes. So stay tuned and we'll see how we get on fitting the radio gear. So the first things first, so we know what lipos we're going to use. Let's just check these actually fit in the car. They actually do. In fact, we'll put them in the other way around, put the connectors to the front, and we'll have some little Velcro straps to go around there to secure them in. So both the lipos fit in there quite nicely. So we'll be running this on these 6-cell lipos. And we have, didn't mention it earlier, but we have actually got a complete spare chassis here. So if we need any parts, we should be okay on that. Now we're going to see how well the UDR motor fits in it. It is slightly bigger. Now I do know that it won't actually fit. This support cradle is actually slightly too small a diameter. So all we're going to do to start with is we're just going to mount it to this plate, mesh the gears up, and then see if that works okay. So two things we have noticed is this has come out of a standard UDR. And I don't know if you can see, those wires have started to, the insulation on those wires has started to break through. So we will put a little bit more heat shrink over those just to protect those. And I also noticed when we took the ESC to pieces, or when we took this cover off, the fan under here is very, it had a lot of dirt in it and it was actually almost impeding it working. So if you are doing a little bit of maintenance on any of these electrics, make sure there's no dirt in these fans because that will affect the performance. And overheating on these is one of the biggest issues we've found, or so that seems to be one of the biggest issues of these going wrong. So it's worth double checking that. So what we're going to do first of all, put the lipos as you should somewhere safe out of the way, and we'll see if we can get the motor in. So I removed the motor mount to make it easier to mount the motor on. Straightforward enough. 2 10mm bolts through there. Put the pinion on at the same time. Might have just spaced that slightly different. So we've got the pinion on and we can now put it back in the truck. And you can see we've got some side to side movement there, so we can mesh the motor up, the pinion up properly against the spur. So we've got the motor mounted in, and the next thing we'll do, the next fixed point you've got to basically mount in is going to be the servo. So I've already mounted a horn on it and I've made sure it's centered. Always make sure you center your servo when you put the horn on, otherwise you'll put it in the car, turn it on and it'll be off to the side. That's not how it needs to be. So we'll put the servo in here and then get that all mounted up. So we've mounted the servo in. It's a little bit tricky because this drive shaft was in the way and I couldn't be bothered to take that out. We've got the servo and we use a metal horn. We have got a servo saver assembly in there, so I'm not too worried about that damaging the servo. That will protect any damage to the servo. So that is now, we're going to do an install. That's the 2 fixed points in a car. The motor you've got to put into that place and the servo you've got to put in that place. Yes, you're usually going to have a radio box, etc. to put the other bits in, but there is a little bit of room to manoeuvre in them. But we will now get the receiver and look to see where the best place is for the ESC. The receiver will go in there. Where am I going to put the ESC? Well, I'm not really sure if I'm honest. Doesn't fit very well there. There's no space really to put it there. So I'll have a look and see. Probably make some sort of plate up for it, but we'll have a look on that one. So there we have it. We've got it all installed now. I've done a very rough install with the ESC on top of here. Don't really like it there permanently, but that's the easiest place just at the moment, just to see how everything's going to work. I think the best place actually to put it, I've seen there is actually a bracket you can get to go on here for it to mount properly. But it's all in, it all works. Just in the process of updating, didn't realise this stuff hasn't got the latest firmware on it, so we're just updating that through the Traxxas Bluetooth link, which is a good little add-on. However, I very nearly spent a lot of wasted time on this, and really it was a bit of a rookie error. I plugged it all in, had the receiver just sort of sitting here like that, and the steering was going crazy, and I thought I had a problem with it. But of course what it was actually the TSM, the gyro that's in the receiver. Because I was moving about a little bit, it was trying to keep the wheels straight, so we sorted that out. So we're going to give it a run, see how it works. It may end up in a pile of bits, it may explode on us, I don't know. But we'll give it a go and see what happens. If it does work well and we get it going well, I will tidy all this up a little bit and go from there. Right, so we brought the Hobao, we brought it out to our little test area. We've got it plugged in and we're going to see how it goes. I think it's going to be a bit too powerful on 6 cell, but we'll give it a run and see what it does. Yeah, I think it might have a bit too much power, and that actually wasn't even full throttle, but we'll give it another go and see how it works.
You need to turn those brakes down.
Not got enough steering lock.
Not at all, no. It seems the brakes might be.
Pardon?
Brakes might be more controllable.
Yeah,
That actually looks like it's a bit more manageable. I mean, 6S is still a powerful machine, so try and do something in front of me. Just stop it. Just stop it right in the middle of the road here.
steering turning is literally the full width of this road.
Well, that's you. I mean, it moves, doesn't it, though? I mean, you can't complain about the speed of it. The braking, was that full brake? Full brake. Well, that's good. That seems about right, doesn't it? So. This looks like I want to go all the time. Oh, nice. %.
That past the camera.
Yeah.
Hard.
Come on. bit far away though.
Okay.
Yeah, quick go.
It's the TSN. Pardon?
Put it down to 40%.
Yeah, and I think also you've got very open diffs on it. That's interesting. It's certainly got plenty of power. It'll do, well, standing backflips easily on that. I think we will have to try it on full cell. The biggest problem with it is actually lack of steering lock. Now, that is full steering lock and it's actually bottoming out on the hub, so that's nothing to do with what we've done to the car. It looks like it's a feature of this car, so we'll have to do a bit of investigation into that, and we'll also look at the diffs, because that diff has got no oil in it whatsoever. I know that for a fact, so we need to look at that. We'll try those little modifications and then perhaps give it a good go. We may even get out the Max or the X Max just to see how they compare. So thanks for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe, and we'll be back with another video soon.